So since we last recorded, obviously there's been no Yankee baseball, as we all know. Um, but the media has become more of a demon and more of a weapon against the fans used by the front office. We're going to go over it. We're going to go over player grades. Anthony Rizzo opts out, a lot of different stuff. Welcome to the Twinbill podcast brought to you by NyynewsTV. Please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, comment 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Don't mind this. It's a little cut, you know,
It looks like a
obviously.
dot, just a
Yeah,
red dot.
it's like somebody's trying to stipe me from far away, but don't mind it. We're here for Yankee talk. Obviously, if you're on the podcast platforms, you're not going to notice shit. Um, but yeah, so we're still talking about the Yankees. We're going to do it all off season. The World Series is currently going on. Bryce Harper's, having a heck of a game. Guy we could have had. Lance
No,
McCullers shit in the bed. A guy we didn't shit the bed again. Excuse me, Adam. We shot the bed against McCullers. To put it that way. But anyway, first off, Luca.
yeah, we're in the pivotal point of the offseason. Obviously, we're getting into player grade stuff like that, but we're just seeing, and I hope that, again, this is my message to all Yankee fans, whether we like them or not. I'm just hoping that this fan base I'm just hoping this fan base wakes the fuck up, honestly, because you're seeing it more and more with guys like Clappish, Heyman, Sherman, all these different guys. Martino and Sherman are not even Yankee writers. Both are Met writers, if you want to be realistic. Sherman's more MLB based, but Martino's more of a Met writer. The Yankees are weaponizing the media to scapegoat the fans for their own failures. Not only that, but they are blaming them entirely and saying their expectations for each team every year is unrealistic, which I find a problem. When Hal says every year we expect to win every single year. And I hope the fans really catch on.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I've seen like two notable, other than the NYY News TV crew, who have repeatedly gone over it, including ourselves. Hell, we've been talking about the beat media and how ugly they
Yeah, that was
are.
honest. First of all, it was us two, like honestly kind of recognizing the start like last year when they were
Yeah,
not asking the questions. Then we finally recognized that the Yankees, well, they kind of I'm not going to say they started this year, but with the tense circumstances around the team, they finally started to weaponize the media as their how would I say it? Their artillery, whatever you want to call them, weapons. That's their shotgun. That's an explode. Every article is an explosive thrown at the Yankee fan base.
right. And what you can either run, you can either join them and say, the fan base
As
needs
one per
to.
as Kevin Durant did, if you can't beat him, join him.
And what was I going to say? You can run, you can be a part of the solution against the media, or you can go ahead and once again join them and say, listen, the fan base needs to calm down their expectations. I don't think anyone's doing that as of right now.
They'd be stupid to.
But
They would be clueless to.
I just maybe it's me, Luca, and we'll get into the Clappish article. We can't go into the Sherman article because it's post plus and there's a fucking paywall, which I hate paywall.
That's the same thing with Clappish too, but I made an account. So first of all, it's bullshit how the writers. You know what? I think the writers are kind of scumbags on that end because you know what? It's they know it's going to be a controversial article, so it's like okay, now you have to pay to see my stuff. It's like let me hide this behind money because if you're clicking on my stuff, whether you like it or not, you're making me money.
No, I mean, good point. Whether it's good or bad, I just hate paywalls. But I just feel like before we get into the articles and stuff, I just feel like not enough of the fan base has woken up. Maybe it's
No,
me, but the
there's
only
not much of an
people
uprise.
there's besides our team, Real Bo Sheck and Bobby Malone on Twitter who have constantly called it out. Other than that, besides their followers, I don't see anyone else headlining it. Do you see, the company men headlining it? Do you see
Of course not.
BRONX pinstripes, all these different guys? Maybe listen, they are. And you guys can give me an article or give me a tweet where they are calling it out. But I'm sorry, nobody else other than NYY News TV. And listen, Real Bo Sheck is not a part of any corporation, or at least to my
He
knowledge,
doesn't
he's
belong
not.
to anybody, I don't
He
think.
doesn't belong to anybody.
He just writes articles.
Yeah, and this is not a knock on them. Just saying that like their personalities on Twitter, and that's fine for them. But we're personalities on Twitter. We're personalities on YouTube, and by growing as fast as we are, by their followers or whoever jumping on the train, we can fight this and say, listen, what they're gonna do during the season is, whether the Yankees are good, they're bad, they're gonna spin it and then act like the fans' best friend again. But
yeah, this cannot be an off season where the Yankee fans are kind of bipolar with Brian Cashman. It has to be an off season, in my eyes, where they're consistent on their views. Now, will they be? I don't know. Will there be an uprising? I don't know. Some people are standing against it, some people are not. But one element to me is important. The Yankees are going to sell you stock, obviously, all these different things. First of all, the fans have a cycle in my eyes, Alex. The fans have a cycle. They go from cash god at the deadline to the Yankees are falling apart in August to yay, we won the division. We're in October. We're going to the World Series. The Yankees fall short. Fire Boone and Cashman. And then they make offseason signings. And it's like Cashman's done it again. All these different trades and signings. And then we get into spring training. Young crews coming up. All these different things. The Yankee fans cannot be like that. They have to be smart. They have to be level-headed. That's what I'm saying. They have to be consistent. We're consistent here. We've been consistently telling you guys, don't fall for the bullshit. I'm not saying you can't be excited about a signing, but measure the impact for the team. What does it make them better? Does it not make them better? Does it make them a World Series contender? You have to be realistic.
And it just feels like there's no urgency from the fans. Now, Once again, I'm not trying to sit here and attack the fan base, but this is a time where we need to rise up as fans and say this is fucking wrong and unite. Because listen, I mean, I talk about all the time how I'm not watching the World Series because, first of all, I got my football team to worry about. I got my basketball team to worry about. I want to watch a little bit more hockey. And like, I hate the Phillies. I hate their fans. I hate Houston. I hate their fans. So what's the point of me watching the World Series and getting mad over, well, the Yankees should have been here, A. B, Harper should have been a Yankee, and we should have crushed McCullers. There's a load of things, but like, from the fans that, have the hype trains and all this shit, instead of
one
second. It's great. Right. It's great to talk about, well, who do you think should be dumped in the offseason, or Josh Donaldson, this any other thing. That's great and all, but we're not going anywhere if problem A isn't solved, where you start recognizing that you need to be a difference maker and not a follower.
Yeah, no offense to all those idiots out there, but that's kind of like a disease, these hype trains, because it's like falling with a false reality. It's a disease.
I agree. So if you want to slowly move into the Bob Clappish crap.
So I know Christian and Chris moved into that. It moved into this on, I think it was on Sunday when they did their pod, but we're going to give our take. I know it might be similar, might be different. So the article starts off with, there's no shortage of theories about Aaron Judge's impending free agency and what will drive to his decision, which, by the way, is not made yet. If Judge leaves the Yankees, it won't be just because of money, and it won't be tied to another disappointing October. Judge hates losing, but there's more going on here. Dun, dun, dun. I actually believe Judge would be okay with pushing the rock uphill again in 2023, were it not for the souring relationship between the Yankees and their fans, which the Yankees created, Alex. The Yankees created that relationship. And Bob Clappish, I don't know if he said in this article, it might have been Sherman and Martino saying this, because I read both articles. They were the ones blaming their fans because they stuck with George Steinbrenner's mantra, championship or bust, in any given year. And we've had the talent, just haven't had the managing or the coach or the general manager of the balls to do it.
Or the execution.
No. So by the season's end, some players and even members of the front office were left wondering whose side the ticket buyers were on. Who the fuck do you think which their side they were on? What you ruined for the opponent now? I mean, that's so stupid.
Yeah, the
What
Yankee
are your
fans are
thoughts on
totally
that
rooting
quote?
for their opponent. They're cheering, yeah, let's go Red Sox.
Like,
Or
what am
let's
I
go,
like?
go
Honestly,
Mets. Yeah,
like
that's what they're
honestly,
totally cheering.
what am I supposed to say, or what am I supposed to do when I'm watching my team go with strike out 16 times in game one, strike out 30 something times in 2 games against the Astros? The Astros are getting the shit beat out of them against the Phillies right now. You tell me we couldn't beat them? You're telling me that? Like, come on, like open your eyes, man. We're not. Nobody roots for the opponent, but you're not going to be. We're New Yorkers. We expect higher expectations. This is the biggest market in all of the country. Being realistic, from basketball to football to baseball to hockey, whatever you want to say. Big market teams: Rangers, Knicks, Yankees, Giants, whatever. Mets maybe as well. But we have higher expectations, and it's the biggest market. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, as Frank Sinatra once said. And some of these guys just cannot make it here because they are too comfy, they are too soft. And that's led by Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman. And that's also soft players this generation as well. But, guys like Machado and Harper want to be Yankees, but apparently per Andy Martino, there's players who don't want to be Yankees right now.
There's some players who I don't want to be Yankees because they're too soft, but it's probably the players that don't want to be Yankees. Go on.
Clappish says one executive told me it's never been this bad, confirming recent reports of Yankees contacting their agents about the crowd's behavior during the postseason, which was also confirmed by Martino. Now, I'm just going to get into this quick point before I continue. Whether this is true or not, what me and Alex's synopsis here of these articles, whether this is true or not, it's a spin story. It's a complete spin story. If it's true, it's a spin story. If it's false, it's a spin story and a complete lie. Anyway, so what's Judge's role in this? He was mostly spared the fans' wrath, and I don't have any indication that the slugger made an issue with higher ups, but that does not mean Judge was not disturbed by the trend line. People I spoke to during the season say Judge was taken aback by the way certain teammates were treated. Alex, remember how Donaldson was kind of neutered by the Yankees during that whole Jackie shit?
Aaron Judge threw him under the bus too.
Yeah, it's Tim Anderson, always the face of baseball. That's why I'm telling people Aaron Judge. I'm sorry. I got to come out and say this. I know this is like an off tangent. I don't think Aaron Judge is a leader. Derek Jeter would have never said that. I know, oh, Luca, you have this bias. Derek Jeter's your favorite Yankee of all time, all these different things. No, there's no balls in this locker room. And that starts with Aaron Boone. And it trickles down to all the players with Aaron Judge. Judge has never been that leader. You think, and now I'm bringing up a moot point for 2018. You think I'm sorry, not Aaron Judge. You think Derek Jeter's walking past the Red Sox clubhouse fucking playing New York in game 2? This is in game 5. But again, that's not the point. I'm just saying that these players are soft. There's no leadership. So that's why I wonder if Hal Steinbrenner realizes the enormity of the task in front of him. The owner has to be more than the Marcus Tides bidder for Judge. Hal needs a superstar to A, believe the Yankees are not headed for a downturn, and B, the stadium will continue to be an attractive destination for future free agents.
Let me ask this before we even go on, before you ever go on or
whatever. That's right. Remember, Alex, listen, we were wrong on this. We called Garrett Cole soft in the middle of the season, but he showed up during the playoffs. He didn't bitch and moan. I mean, he didn't bitch and moan about the fans. He bitched and moaned about other things during the regular season. Made excuses. We're going to discount that because he played his ass off in the playoffs. Didn't he want to be a Yankee? Wasn't he a Yankee fan back in 2001? Remember the big sign? Yeah. Are people just writing that off?
Now, here's a point I want to bring up, and this is kind of like the whole, I would say, question surrounding some of these articles. What do the beat writers want, as if they were truly trying to push this and not use it for spin? What do they truly think and want? Why am I saying that? You might ask, because they're talking about the fans. And are you going to tell do you want the organization to tell their fans to say, listen, we're not at that point anymore. Like, is that what they're trying to get across? Are they trying to get like the corporate media fan base to say lower your expectations, and then that corporate media fan base will tell the fans, listen, we got to lower our expectations. The '90s isn't us no more. It's like, is that what they want? I mean, I'm not doing that.
No, I'm not doing that either. You pissed off. You would piss off the diehards.
That's
You
what they're
would.
doing. They're pissing off the diehards.
So you have that. Moving into a more important paragraph. I get why outsiders would be mystified by this. First of all, the Yankee fans, most of them are extremely loyal. But let's face it, Judge isn't just popular; he's a cult hero. Thank you, Bob, for stating the obvious.
Bullshit.
Second, some fans boo will tell you they're sick of watching a runner-up. They're not raising a middle finger at any particular Yankee, but to an overall trend in the post-George era. Since their last World Championship in 09, the Bombers have been home watching TV while the Giants 3 times, the Red Sox twice, and the Cardinals, Royals, Cubs, Nationals, Dodgers, Braves all have rings. The Yankees have none. The Yankees, first of all, Bob then contradicts himself. The impatience in the stands is understandable. The fans pay handsomely to watch this team, and they show up at the stadium in droves. The Bombers led the American League in attendance for 2022, which is all a home team can ask for. Still, something changed in the messaging from the stands in 2022. The Yankees were on trial from midsummer on. What started as a friendly rooting turned into a simmering rage during August 10-18 slump. The viciousness
and again, they no context. They said slump. Now, I think I've read the article before. Obviously, we're just going through it in our thoughts for the fans here, but like that, I'm pretty sure that's all he includes is just slump. Not taking off games, not putting out shitty lineups, not putting out shitty rotation, pieces, whatever. None of that stuff
putting
is
in
included.
bullpen pieces to mail the game in.
It's just like a slump.
Yeah, that's Cashman's minion.
See, the problem, and here's a problem with this fan base: they have short-term memory.
Of course, the viciousness and vulgarity of the terms was out in the open. Like the rest of the Yankee fans, now we're going to go into Joey Gallo. Should we even do that, Alex, or is that a moot point?
Whatever you want to do.
Like the rest of the Yankees, Judge picked up on this. He is the clubhouse's leader. He rallied the Yankees in defense of Joey Gallo, who obviously did not make it here. And first of all, Clappish goes on to say Gallo suffering from anxiety because of the Yankees booing, which is not true.
All that is bullshit. I don't know if there's more paragraphs and more sentences about Joey Gallo, but I'm pretty sure you guys know what us and Pete have said. Everybody said on this network. The Yankees didn't do their scouting, so that's A. And I mentioned this on another show as well, which was my show, Boys of the Big Apple. They didn't do their scouting to recognize that Joey Gallo had a mental issue, a tick, that would obviously be triggered if he was being booed at Yankee Stadium. And B, if he was being so disgustingly booed at Yankee Stadium, then why did Clappish not sit out and call his Yes Network and say, listen, I'm concerned about Joey Gallo. Stop putting him on the TV and making fun of him. Like that is, once again, it's so hypocritical. One second. It's so hypocritical because if we had our own network and we did that, we would be crucified on Twitter. We'd be doing this. We would be canceled, whatever. But if the Yes Network did that, but if some of these other podcasts did what the Yes Network did and put Joey Gallo under a microscope, with his mental issues, talking to himself or whatever the case may be, if they were, when they put him on the microscope, I'm sorry, but there was barely any criticism. There was not enough criticism against that other than what we were talking about.
Yeah, Bob was talking. Remember, guys, Bob Clappish wrote an article last year talking about Joey Gallo's dressing routine, which might be one of the most bizarre topics ever. So then Clappish, in summary, goes on to talk about Hicks being taunted by the chance of Joey Gallo once Gallo is traded. Then he talks about IKF's father being threatened on social media, all these different things. He says one member of the organization said, even if it's a small number of crazies that do stuff like this, word gets out around the league.
Oh, really?
Again, worried about perception.
Philly, Boston, no, those don't count, right? Philly and Boston, Houston, Those fan bases, right? Philly, where they eat horse shit, they boo Santa Claus, they throw batteries at players, they pour beer on fucking children. Their children are literally white trash. And I know I'm generalizing here, but trust me, us New Yorkers are generalized way too much. I'm getting pretty sick and fucking tired of it.
Yeah.
Boston, I'll generalize them too. I don't give a fuck. I know some Boston fans who are very nice people, but this time, since they want to generalize us, we're going to generalize them. Racist, whites, Irish, whatever the fuck you want to put in there. And I'm not going to go on no political banter because I think it's nonsense. It's useless. But I'm just saying, they want to generalize us. We're going to go generalize some other fan bases because it's not being called out by the media. And the thing with that Hicks, did you mention that Aaron Hicks said before the season that he was going for 30 for 30, that he was doing this, that he was doing that he
Did he
called
mention
out?
that? Yeah.
That he called out Aaron Boone and the management because they didn't put Joey Gallo in the right positions to succeed. Meanwhile, he committed an error on Derek Jeter Day. I mean, once again, everybody can come out and say, well, this is just a moot point. This is a moot point because we know what the media is doing. But it's just further stressing it because a portion of the fan base is really not getting this right now.
Yeah, so
the last time the fan base, in my personal opinion, this is when still Yankee baseball was happening. The last time the Yankee fan base, in my personal opinion, once again, and this is not the entire Yankee fan base because only a portion of it lives on Twitter. There's a bunch of other people. There's some nice people that you go to Yankee Stadium and pay the money and all this other shit, right? That are actually real fans like us. But the ones on Twitter, last time they fucking had some type of narrative or they tried putting out something or were just loud about something, it was when Michael K was quote unquote going after the organization. Everybody got fucking
yeah.
Everyone was jerking off to fucking Michael K. Meanwhile, nobody except for Real Bo Sheck and us said the next day he retracted his statement and nobody said a fucking word, except everybody was happy. Oh, Michael K followed me on Twitter. Oh, Michael K followed me on Twitter. No, shut up. Seriously. That again, that's the problem, but there's a lot more Yankee fans, and I know we seem to be generalizing.
The nicer Yankee fans you see, the real Yankee fans you see are the faces you see, not the, players with the profile pictures. But anyway, even if it's a small number of crazies that stuff like this word gets around the league, players from other teams talk about it. Eventually, you'll get free agents who ask, do I really want to play for the Yankees? Now, again, I'm not trying to go off topic, but if this is a general discussion, has any Giants, Knicks, Jets, Nets, Mets player or member of the organization ever said that?
Said that what?
That asked questions about the fans booing and talking about how it resonates around the league.
Well, you've had your tidbits. I mean, Leonard Williams kind of said something last year that wasn't very didn't stick to me very well. That was obviously, if you're Giant fans out there, you know who Leonard Williams is.
Although
he said that, but we're winning this year, so he obviously loves the fact that the fans. I mean, he said it. The fans are back in the building. This is great. Yet Eli Apple, I mean, he was just a cancer himself. Eric Flowers was talking about the fan base. I mean, he's a free agent right now, so we all know how that went. Javi Baez and Francisco Lindor,
Kevin Pillar.
After fans, and I know this is a moot point. After fans just went on Twitter and literally said, "Pray for Kevin Pillar, pray for Kevin Pillar," because what was it? He got hit in the face.
Yeah.
But no, that wasn't good enough. So he had to do the thumbs down. But go ahead.
Anyway, the easy response is to waive easily bruised players. If they can't take a little booing, they don't belong in New York, they say, right? But the game has changed in 20 years, Alex. Unlike, say, Derek Jeter's crew, today starts here at the ballpark and on social media. You see, it's not easy. See, that's the funny part, because players in other sports and other markets hear it on social media and, at the stadium or at the arena. Like, I'm sure Carmelo Anthony's gotten shit for, averaging, 25 points per game in a weak East and not taking the Knicks to the playoffs. Like, he's gotten shit for that probably. But, hey, he's not complaining. He's fucking Brooklyn born. Like, I'm not trying to draw, stupid comparisons here. I'm being realistic. Where people are tough enough in this. There are a lot of tough players in this market who could suck it up and play. Even outside this market, but the Yankee players are soft. That's what Bob is not telling you because Bob is a fucking loser. Anyway, players say they don't check Twitter, but family members often do. The insults are more personal and unrelenting than ever before. Even Judge wasn't entirely spared. Now you can add more context or less context. He got from the fans early in the season. You want to know why, Alex? Answer why he got it early in the season.
Because Brian Cashman flipped the script and put out a narrative that Aaron Judge was a selfish player who wants all the money. And there's still people that still believe that.
What Alex is telling you is he leaked the contract negotiations.
And he was struggling, and the fans couldn't hold 30 seconds of it. But what they opted to do is
no, they held Brian Cashman's cock in his mouth.
Because some people claim to be minions, because not claim to be. Some people are minions. They ignored Joey Gallo's offensive struggles for like how many weeks while Judge was struggling. And then when Judge was putting on a show, it started to lessen again.
Of course, it's all about trends. It's all about sucking Brian Cashman's dick. But anyways, continue. Despite one of the finest regular season performances in American League history, Judge was 1 for 16 against Houston and heard boos on the way out the door. Now, I actually, I don't want to say I play both sides on this when it comes to Aaron Judge being booed. Right. Yes, he got us here. But you can't play like shit in the playoffs and expect to be cheered on for it. That's my stance. I understand he brought us here. But it's like, we can't, you don't want to be double standardish. You understand what I'm saying, Alex?
Yeah, because you could easily flip the script and say, well, Harrison Bader didn't come back till late September, but he was great in the playoffs. You can flip the script. And I'm not saying Harrison Bader wasn't, was terrible for the Yankees. No, he was good for the Yankees, but I'm just saying you could flip that script easily and talk about how a player was really bad in the regular season or wasn't even effective on the team in the regular season. And then, they were great in the postseason.
That's what Garrett Cole was, if you want to be realistic.
You could say that with Garrett Cole. You could also say it with Giancarlo Stanton, which, I don't think Stanton did that great in the playoffs statistically.
He had his moments. Not a lot, not more than usual. So Judge was unfazed by the treatment.
I also just don't know how Judge gets more hate than Stanton, but I'm going to shut my mouth.
Oh, boy, Alex is going to get to take some heat for that one. He seemed unfazed by the treatment. He said booing is nothing new, but something was different about his reaction to the sweep. And then Bob Clappish uses the old adage that Judge was using, past tense, which we have pointed out on several different platforms. Because what he's telling you guys were the ones to blame for his using of the past tense. He's ignoring the way he used past tense with Marlon Rivera and all those past interviews in June and July when the Yankees, were started to fizzle a little bit. And that the Yankees failed Judge in contract negotiations and were fucking minutes away from taking him to arbitration court. That's what he's not telling you. I'm telling you that.
Right, but anyway, they're MLB writers, so they're going to read more of the MLB writers stuff, and this is just a fan thing. You're going to trust a verified source over an unverified blogger. So it's kind of like if now I'm not generalizing again, but before you go on,
yes,
I'm not generalizing again, but some of our friends' dads, they listen to sports radio, right?
Yeah.
That's a generalization that the older population really hasn't gotten into.
Mid-40s.
Yeah. So the 40s, the 50-year-olds, and once again, this ain't generalizing because we have some 40, 50-year-old people in our audience here. But it just, we need to somehow get them to go to our network, go to other people's networks, but most importantly, ours. And once again, getting fan meetups, posting posters, all that stuff, that would help.
Engagement.
And it's going to help in the future because those people actually go to games. We're not talking about useless people on Twitter.
So, last two sentences I'm going to read. Maybe Judge considers the boos of a foreshadowing what's happened to 2023. If so, it might be too late for Steinbrenner's checkbook to save the day. That was the end of that article.
Someone said it best.
Or that article.
They buried the checkbook with George.
Who was it who said? Oh, that's right. It
Brian, I
was
think,
Brian.
said that.
Brian
Yeah,
did.
Brian said that.
So, Alex, you have any final thoughts on that article?
Complete spin continues.
What have we not said that was
I
already
I don't
clear?
know. I mean, we pretty much outlined a lot of it, but complete spin, complete utter garbage. I mean, once again, this goes to a point that you know Yankee fans need to wake up, because you read this and they're literally targeting us, the fan base. They're literally targeting us. And this goes to people on Twitter or the younger audience who they're already focused in an off-season stuff, and you know they're not necessarily pushing back against this. And this is also for the older audience who's still stuck in the sports talk realm, like the Boomer Esiasons and the Michael K's of the world. They're still listening to their shows, but they're not coming to our shows, even though we're A, less censored, B, we know what we're talking about, C, they're not going to go out there and really criticize the beat media. They'll talk about some other stuff instead. And let's not mislead ourselves here, because we've been talking up about Aaron Judge. I know Luca talked about that point. Aaron Judge is not a leader. I saw in an article, and this is not fake, this is by Clutch Points. Let's not go into this, and I know Luca's going to hate me for it. Maybe he'll agree with me for it. And, maybe some recent events in this type of sport have kind of proven my point. Let's not go with this NBA route. Why am I saying that? In this article, somebody put that the Yankees need to give Aaron Judge a say in roster construction. There is no reason they should do that. Now, they do need to reconstruct that front office and get some new fucking people in there. And let me destroy this narrative. Hold on. Let me destroy this narrative. I think we're getting way too fucking safe. Not me personally, not some other people on Twitter, not the NY News team, but the fanboys and the tomboys and all these different people out there. They're getting safe with the possibility of Tim Nehring being the next general manager. Giant fans in the audience. Once again, I'm making connections to the outside, but I'm just expanding my thoughts and comparisons. There was that rumor last year when we all knew Dave Gettleman was going to go in retirement or firing, that they wanted to stay in-house, give Joe Judge another year, and Kevin Abrams, who was the assistant general manager, they wanted to hire him as the GM. That never happened. John Mara actually had balls, and he cleaned out that portion. And Joe Shane, he ended up cleaning out the front office full of scum. So that just tells you, A, the motives and the passion comparisons between John Mara and Hal Steinbrenner. And you could even put George on John's side, because both of them have passion. I don't think Hal has passion for anything except making fucking money. Hal isn't a fan of the New York Yankees. As I said, he likes seeing them from 30,000 feet in the air?
Yep, 30,000 feet in the air.
Yeah, the very pathetic one. But let's not go down this road of, well, Aaron Judge needs to oversee roster construction. No, let's not turn baseball into basketball, because a lot of people find basketball way too unenjoyable because of that subject. If you're a Nets fan, you'll get the reference because of the KD, Kyrie stuff and Steve Nash. But I mean, I don't know, Luke. I thought that was a bit overboard.
I think I'll be honest, I think it's more prevalent than KD and Kyrie. Like LeBron's fucking making decisions for his basketball team. He's fucking wanting Russell Westbrook on the Lakers, and he's still not a good fit. You had Draymond and fucking Steph Curry asking Steve Kerr to sign Avery Bradley, but Kerr stuck with Gary Payton. He was right for it. Just some I'm not going on a different tangent. I'm drawing comparisons from the outside sports. I don't want that to happen with Aaron Judge, where he dictates what happens with the Yankees. That's just a simple, lazy
Did
narrative.
Derek Jeter ever do that?
No, it would just, to me, hot take, it would just be, and it's my opinion, it would just be as lazy as what you said, Alex, demoting Brian Cashman to have somebody else in-house make the decisions. Why the hell are you?
People saying, oh, Cashman, it would be a win if he takes a different position. No, it would not, because that influences what changes. You telling me that let's just say, for instance, let's just say they put Cashman as president of baseball operations or whatever. Maybe Randy Levine is forced in retirement, whatever the fuck. let's just say they're bringing an outside GM. Is Hal, or let me put it in better grammar, are Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman going to let him do whatever the fuck he wants with the front office? No.
No,
No, because they
probably
don't let
not.
Aaron Boone do what he wants. They're not gonna give priorities and flexibility to the new GM, whoever that is. But let's be real, they're not getting a new GM, nor they are getting a new manager.
And also, I got to advise this: do not go down the Jets route where you're going to hire an outside general manager and force a marriage with the outside general manager and the current manager. It's either, no, it's not either. You fire his ass on the spot. If the general manager you're hiring or want to hire says to you, "I'm only coming here without," if you fire Aaron Boone, you do the fucking thing. You do it.
And if you give me power to get rid of people in the front office.
Exactly. But I don't know if Hal Steinbrenner has the balls to do that. Because Hal Steinbrenner somehow from 30,000 feet away says Aaron Boone's a good manager. Well, like if, let's just say they bring in, I don't know, Brian Sabine or some of the other guys, Theo Epstein, whoever. So Epstein's not coming here. But you bring in some of the guys who have been the most powerful voice of baseball. I'm going to go with Brian Sabine just because, he's been highly praised by one of our guys, one of our friends. And Sabine says to Hal, I understand. I heard your comments about Boone being a good manager, but I do know some people who are better, who are veteran managers who have done this before. And Hal's can be like, no. And then Sabine's like, you know what? I might as well just not take this job then because my influence is not worth it. And Sabine was in the Yankees organization. And the problem with the Yankees organization is there's been a lot of people who have been in charge for way too long. Damon Oppenheimer's been how long?
I was just going to ask, last week, did I go over
I think you did. You did. Again, we don't have to go over again, but it's like the same issue. It's like the Yankees have had too long assistants that have been there too long, and they haven't adjusted to the current game. You got Astros and Rays and the Red Sox and Braves, all these different cats with new guys who understand the new philosophy of baseball. As much as I hate it, but you got to adjust with the times. The philosophy has to be new.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we can start moving on to some other subjects, player grades, and whatever else we got on the docket. What's the next one we're going to go into?
So I said a minor point. Anthony Rizzo opts out. What is your solution for him? Well, what is your solution long term or for next year?
See, here's the problem with Anthony Rizzo. And listen, I like the type of guy he is. But the back problems concern me. But the Yankees' lack of interest in having any solutions behind him is a little concerning. There's no first baseman in the minor leagues that automatically comes to your
mind. Are you
going
to the question is, you get trade for first baseman?
Who
the hell? Yeah, exactly. Who the hell's available?
No, there's that. It's a no win because Rizzo. Okay, he could come back and play great. And I'm not speaking on an honest standpoint on what I think of Anthony Rizzo. He didn't have as good of a season as he did kind of last year, but at the same time, he hit more home runs. So obviously, the analytics will prefer that. But the injuries, I mean, how old is he? Like 33, somewhere in that realm. So
Rizzo is 33.
And I know I'm using a Donald term. You can't be half pregnant because if you're bringing up the guys, you got to do, I don't know. I'm waiting to see what happens, but I think he's opting out because he knows that he can get more money maybe somewhere else.
I kind of disagree with you in a sense.
Hold on 1 second. I think he's opting out because he knows that he can get more money possibly somewhere else. B, he knows that Judge ain't a sure thing in New York anymore.
I kind of disagree with you with the half pregnant stance. I get what you're saying, but the Astros are exemplifying what they can do, developing certain players and winning. Look at Jeremy Pena. The Astros, I said the Astros before this year, Astros will win division. They have a great farm system. All these different pitchers like Valdez and Garcia and Javier, all these different pitchers are just coming up. And despite losing Greinke and whoever, you can count on that list. Don't forget, Jeremy Pena, as I just said, Carlos Correa's gone. They're going to be like, okay, we got this guy named Jeremy
No,
Pena.
okay. I'm listen. The
What I'm
Astros are
saying
great in
is
that
the
regard.
Astros can develop correctly. The Yankees can't. That's why. That's why I think I understand what you're saying.
Okay, so you get the point. My why I'm
They
saying is
slow
half
the Yankees
pregnant.
slow the process down.
No, I understand, but why I'm saying the Yankees are half pregnant is you got guys like Peraza, Volpe, eventually, and Cabrera. Meanwhile, you have no real trick solution at first base. Let's be honest. DJ LeMahieu has not been pretty much on the field 100% for the last 2 years. And Anthony Rizzo, I mean, he's going to opt out. And he's based on Judge whether he's coming back. And he's got injury concerns. And you're not turning to Matt Carpenter as your first base option. You fucking better not. I don't care what anyone says. You better
That's a
not turn to
flash in the
him.
pan.
Yeah, what makes you think he's gonna be the character
Remember,
he
we only
was?
picked him up on waivers.
Right, and that was short lived because he got injured, and he wasn't the same after he
You
got
know what
injured.
was
Now,
also short?
obviously, he will be better health wise, but doesn't mean he'll be better performance wise.
You know who was also short lived, Alex? Guys like Mike Ford, Tyro Estrada. Well, Estrada wasn't actually short lived. The Yankees kind of failed him because he had a solid bat in San Francisco. Mike Tauchman was short lived. That's what happens with these projects. Brian Cashman thinks, okay, just because this guy worked for 1 year, I think he's going to work next year too. He's got to
Yeah,
have some sort of awareness, and I don't think he has that. That's why I think he should be see ya.
I think we should go over free agent class and then player grades to wrap it up.
All right, Aaron Judge.
I mean, resign, and we're going on resign. We're not going on contract. That takes too long. Resign, obviously. I mean that's without a fucking question.
Same here. I can't argue that. Aroldis Chapman.
You know better than to ask me that.
So I want to say the AAV that Spotrac has up, Judge around $38 million. Do you think that's fair? I think it could be higher.
Um, yeah, a little higher.
Chapman, $6.6 million.
6.6. Well, the Yankees just, I mean, he's going to be on that contract. I can definitely see it.
Anthony Rizzo,
Resign. You have to. You have to kind of offer him a little bit more money. You have to.
it's either that or you wait for Wells to come up. In my
You wait for
eyes,
Wells, you take Carpenter, you rely on DJ LeMahieu, you fucking get Josh Bell. I mean, he's
I,
not been.
I would love Josh Bell, but I
I
know
would like, but I wouldn't love him. Here's why. I didn't like his. I could be wrong. I got to look at the stats, but I didn't love his performance in playoffs.
fair enough. Rizzo, I said Zach Britton.
You know better than to ask me that.
So I say no. That Luis Severino. Are
You
we
have to
picking
pick
up
up.
that
You have
option?
to pick up the option.
$15 million.
Got to pick up the option at this point.
I mean, yes, this because now some people might be skeptical. Would you do that?
Well, I mean, the
Health is a
Yankees.
major concern. You can't deny that.
What health?
Yeah, health is a
No,
major
health and
concern.
health is a major concern, but I mean,
He was on it this year. He
here,
wasn't like
here's where I fall into that whole category is you're ideally, in my opinion, putting yourself in the same spot both ways because if Sevy gets hurt, you're gonna trust the guys that you would have trusted either beforehand. Like they're let's be real, they're not going out and signing a starting pitcher.
I would
Let's
love to
be
see
fucking
Rodon in
real.
a Yankee uniform, but they I know it's I know sure as hell they won't do that.
So they're not going out and starting signing a starting pitcher. So they will either rely on Clark Schmidt, some of these other guys in the system to be starters rather than to go sign. So you're literally putting yourself in the same spot. It's just the amount of reps which makes the difference. So I mean, I'm gonna say $15 million just for the sure thing of it. Once again, the injuries are playing in there, but anyway,
So what would next year's rotation be on that? It would be Cole, Nestor, Sevy, and it would be Tyon's
and
gone.
Montas.
Fucking trade Montas, please. I fucking don't like him at all. I'm sorry, I gotta say that. Benintendi, I say yes. Will the
Benintendi, I
Yankees
would
do it?
resign.
I don't know.
Cabrera could play all over the field, so I'm not saying bench him, but you could learn, keep the energy.
I'm scared that listen, the Yankees are. What would scare me is this regime is still back, and the Yankees re-sign Benintendi. They still place him in the fifth hole.
No, they'll definitely do that. I mean, because they use analytics from 1934.
Okay. Jameson Tyone. Let me just
No,
say this:
I'm
Rizzo's
sorry.
market value is around $23 million. Do you think
Uh,
that's fair? That'd be like a short-term deal.
yeah, I guess, but no,
Ben,
I'm sorry. I'm not. Jameson Tyne can go fucking kick rocks.
his value is $14.5 million.
That's, I guess, okay, but
That's pretty pedestrian.
bye,
It is pretty pedestrian.
bye.
They said Benintendi's numbers 17.3 million per year.
Yeah, I mean,
Somebody said on
then
Twitter,
again, we'll see what happens.
I'm scared that Benintendi's first half was a fluke.
Yeah, that just shows you didn't watch Yankees baseball. I'm sorry. It just shows that the Benintendi's been this. Now he hasn't had 323 batting average success all of his career, but did you not watch that the Yankees put him in the 9 hole, the 4 hole, the 1 hole, the 5 hole?
There's no consistency. That's why he wasn't getting numbers.
Right.
And I think it's going to be like one of those things where people are concerned because Benintendi put numbers on a bad team, and that we're going to see that comparison. But I think Benintendi will he's not a power. He's not like Gallo where he's all or nothing. Benintendi, if you place him at the top of the order, he's going to get hits and he's a table setter. Anyway,
Yeah.
Chad Green. Are you giving him a long-term or one-year
Honestly,
contract?
no.
Neither am I. He blew up in the beginning of the season as I saw it. And he's a mixed bag each year in my eyes. Like he'll have a few good years and then he'll just splat bad. Like he hasn't had the last 2 good years in my eyes.
No, I agree.
And he's obviously coming. He's obviously coming off Tommy John, so he might be out next year too. So there's no point in signing him.
Again, I agree.
Miguel Castro.
You know better than to ask me that. That's my.
Uh,
I'm not gonna say no anymore,
Matt
unless it's
Carpenter.
unless it's someone who's, you know, where it's a debatable subject.
Matt
I'm not. I'm
Carpenter.
sorry. I'm not re-signing Matt Carpenter.
Neither am I. That's
It's a 1-year project.
And these are pretty much minors. You got Marvin Gonzalez and Greg Bird. The list goes down. Alex, remember when we started Chichi Gonzalez for a game?
I don't even remember. I think that was what the Yankees lost that day. Maybe
Yeah, they did. They
I
did
wasn't
lose.
invested at that time because I remember obviously I was watching for the Judge stuff, but I was watching my football team beef. Was it
Tyler Lyons, Alex. Don't you want to re-sign Tyler Lyons, that
No,
lefty?
Marwin Gonzalez, they should not resign. Oswaldo Cabrera is so much better than Marwin Gonzalez. It's not even funny. So he could take the rules of IKF. IKF can fuck off, and so can Marwin Gonzalez. But
And
any
Josh
more free
Donaldson.
agents we got to go over?
No, let's go into player grades.
All right. You got the roster with you?
I can pull it up, but we can still we can go with our starters first.
All right. So you headline for us.
I'm gonna go like across the field. I'm gonna start with catcher Jose Trevino. What is your grade?
B plus.
I'm gonna go with
I
B plus
think
too.
he dropped off towards the end of the year offensively, showing that he may not be able to catch that many games. But overall, solid defender, still an all-star, B plus.
Let me ask you this: if you don't think he catch games every day, who are you getting?
You fucking make a move for somebody. Sean Murphy, anyone. I mean, listen, Trevino, as
We
much
should have
as
got Ramuto, but
that I was calling that from the fucking hilltops a few years ago, but I wasn't on social media then.
just remember we had Gary Sanchez.
Yeah.
So let me just go look at the 2023 free agent class. Contreras, you signing Contreras?
Will the one on the Braves or the one on the?
No, Wilson Contreras.
I guess you could sign him.
His value would be around $16 million a year.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, once again,
If you hit platoon him and Trevino, that's
I
not a
can't
bad
say
idea.
that Trevino is costing. I don't know if he's facing arbitration, but he won't cost a ton.
True, true. Let me get you the numbers on that real quick.
Yeah.
Because we all crave Contreras because by the time at the deadline, we knew that Trevino was like, he's not
Yeah.
every day. So he has 3 arbitration years. Next year, 2024, 2025. Estimate
Mhm.
for next year would be around 1.9 million.
Okay. All
So
right.
he would be cheap. He's a free agent in
So you could
20,
basically utilize him as a backup and tell Kyle Higashioka to kick fucking rocks.
and then you can leave Ben Rorvet in AAA. Remember Ben Rorvet? Remember he's like the
Who?
kid. He's like the kid on the milk carton.
Who?
He's like the lost kid.
Who?
I mean, yeah. So you have that. Trevino's obviously comes cheap. Contreras. How about Gary Sanchez, Alex? Don't you want the Gary Sanchez experience back? How about Roberto Perez? Martin? Nah, I'm not going to go through this. I was just joking. But anyway, going back to it. First base, Anthony Rizzo. I think I'm going to go B plus two.
What do you have? 32, 33 home runs?
I want to see he tied his career high.
You can't discredit that, but I'm gonna go B plus too. I mean, at times he was hot, times he was cold. I'm gonna give him a B plus.
Yeah, some people might start to see a decline in his numbers, and I wouldn't be surprised. Second base, Gleyber Torres.
Do I really want to go with another B plus here? I'm gonna go B minus actually.
I'm going C plus.
Really? You're that low on him?
It's well, it's tough because we know what Gleyber Torres is. He had a really hot start to the season. First half of the season he was an all-star, arguably. And then the second half, like to start, he just became that head case again, especially when the Yankees struggled and really needed him.
Right.
So I'll change it to a B minus. Not groupthink here, but the way he performed well in the playoffs. It's just when he does not pull the ball, when he drives the ball the opposite way, he is such a better hitter and he knows it. But the Yankees love their uppercut swings.
Right.
And I'm gonna say this. I think he should be gone in the off season.
Yeah, he should be traded. We're gonna have a whole episode probably dedicated to who should we trade.
So shortstop, our favorite, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
I actually might be generous.
D minus. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I was gonna give an F.
You know. Here's the thing. You got to go off what was expected of him because the Yankees did what to us?
They gaslit us.
They gaslit us.
So
And what he actually is. They So it's tough in that regard. So
yeah,
you can
no,
go
I mean
C
they put him in a
minus.
bad position from the start, but he didn't help himself. I'm gonna go D.
D
I'm gonna
plus,
go. You
or you
know
can just
what?
go regular D. There's no
Fuck it. I'm gonna go F plus. F plus.
F plus. Um, Next player, third baseman, Josh Donaldson.
D plus.
D plus.
D plus.
I'm gonna go C minus. I'm gonna give him a little benefit of doubt that he never
Okay.
had.
Yeah, not good
It's the same.
offensively. Fake
It's the
tough
same
guy.
grade
Got
though.
neutered by the Yankees. Defensively was a
Too
whiz.
many home runs he pimped
Yeah,
or fake pimped because they
yeah,
ended up being outs.
yeah.
Too many
He ended
times
up
cost
giving
him base.
himself blue balls, but
Moving on. Also, he complained about the noise, not the noise, the Yankee fans. So remember, Andy Martino said that
yeah.
Donaldson was
Nice
turned into.
content, not nice context clues, idiot. We, not you, obviously, but yeah, yeah. Let's mention Josh Donaldson's name in the article, even though we're trying to hide who it was. Yeah, you fucking moron. Anyway, next.
Do you want to move to the rest of the infield or
However you
out?
want to do, I'm following your lead.
All right. Oswaldo Cabrera out of his short stint. I'm
Um,
actually gonna go like B plus, honestly.
I'm gonna say for his expectations, I'm gonna go A minus.
He didn't perform. Listen, he didn't perform well in the playoffs. He was good in the field, but he showed promise. There's no lying in
Promising.
that. Like we all expected Peraza to be called up before from Cabrera, but he's a really good utility guy, and then you don't have a problem with that,
Right.
especially coming off the bench next year. Marwin Gonzalez.
I'm gonna go D minus.
I'm gonna go D. Just a D. Nothing
Wasn't
major, nothing
yeah,
special.
nothing special. I mean,
How did I forget this
just
guy?
have had better options, but they didn't. They chose to stick with Marwin because of veteran leadership.
DJ LeMahieu.
I'm
I'm gonna
sorry.
give him a. I'm gonna give him a solid B.
I'm gonna give him a B minus. Like he was, starting to hit well, but man, these
The
injuries
fucking
as of late piling
injuries.
up. I mean, I just hate the fact that these injuries are piling up for him because he would be one of my favorite players, but obviously, you got to be on the field.
Of course. Moving
And also,
on.
the Yankees mismanaged his situation, but that's a different subject.
Oswald Peraza.
Um,
I'm not gonna rush to give him an A. I'll be honest. I'm gonna go solid B.
I'm gonna go solid B too.
I thought he was good in the field. I think it took a while for his bat to get going, but that he was valuable, very valuable. And he
Yeah,
just looks like when he plays shortstop, it's just a different
smooth.
flow, smooth. Moving to the outfield, you have first of all, let's go back to catcher Kyle Higashioka.
Um, I think I'm gonna go with an F minus.
Remember, Alex, he hit like 7 home runs in the spring training.
I hit more
Remember,
home
30
runs.
home runs, All Star, better than Gary Sanchez.
Yeah.
Could argue he's worse than Gary Sanchez.
Well, effort wise, he's better. That's the only
Moving
thing.
on, Harrison Bader.
I'm gonna go A minus.
I'll go B plus.
Okay.
Andrew Benintendi.
A minus. I'll be the benefit. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he was
I'm
put in a
gonna
bad spot.
go. I'm gonna go B. Give him a solid B.
Okay.
It was a good pickup. It's just the Yankees did not put him in this position to succeed. Estevan Florial. I'm going like C minus. I'll be honest,
How can we even grade that? I'm gonna go a solid C, and it's not even all
because
his
like
fault.
we all called for him to be up because Aaron Hicks and Joey Gallo, but he just didn't perform either. So it's like
It's a
he's,
mixed bag.
as people say, he's a what do they call it? Not a triple. He's a 4A outfielder. A 4A. I think that's what they call it. They say he's a quadruple A outfielder, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Aaron Hicks.
Did you know that? 1 second. I know we're in the middle of a show, but I think Sean McVay's grandfather died.
Interesting.
The former coach, I think. But anyway, Aaron Hicks. I'm gonna give him a Z.
I'm gonna give him an O.
An O. See,
Oh
a Z
wait.
is it like a Z?
You know what? You know what? We'll give him a random. You give him Z. I'll give him.
An L?
He is a loser, so fine. I'll grade him with an L.
Okay.
A loser. There's no A, B, C, D, or F. He's a loser. He's further than he's beyond horrible. Aaron Judge, A plus,
A plus.
regardless of playoff
Carried the team.
performance. Tim LaCash. Well, I'm actually going to move more into the important players. Giancarlo Stanton, All-Star season, but then fell off because of injuries.
B. Solid B. I'm
Same
being generous.
Matt Carpenter. I'm gonna go B minus.
I'm gonna go B.
Because I think, well, it's not Carpenter's fault that he was kind of playing limp, but he was just a strikeout machine in the playoffs. Like you saw, he was not comfortable in the batter's box. Moving to the starting rotation. First off, Garrett Cole. Now you have to factor playoffs in the start.
Give him an A minus.
I'll give him solid A.
Okay.
Frankie Montas.
F. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him an F too. Like it's also not his fault that the Yankees brought him over and they kind of screwed up the philosophy because the Yankees like to utilize their best players and they
love
like
injured players.
No, it's not even that, right? But they like to emphasize using the off speed instead of the fastball. The best pitch they like emphasizing using your second best stuff instead of your primary stuff, which is ridiculous. Yeah. It's ass backwards. Montas, I'm going to give a D minus.
By the way, Joey
Luis
Gallo gets an F, and I know he's off the team, but he gets an F.
Luis Severino.
B? A minus?
I'm gonna go B.
Okay.
Could have stayed healthy, but again, that's a moot point. Jameson Tyone.
B minus at best. I'm gonna give it a C.
I'm gonna go C plus.
Okay.
What was I gonna say? Nestor Cortez. I'm gonna give an A plus.
A plus.
He might have not had his stuff in the playoffs, but he was
outperformed in the regular season.
No lying about that. So let's see. Aroldis Chapman.
You quit on the team, so you're gonna get a fucking
F.
F. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit what type of season you had. You gotta get F.
Let's go. Miguel Castro.
Yeah, tattoo. Oh, it hurts me. What?
Miguel Castro.
D.
Straight C minus.
D.
We knew what he was. We traded Joely Rodriguez for him, and we knew what he was.
D.
Scott Efros. I'm gonna give him a B plus, honestly.
B plus. I mean, we didn't see a lot of him.
But to me, he had closer stuff until the Yankees decided to give him Tommy John surgery, which he had arm problems, but
No, we like injured players.
Corey Kluber. Domingo Herman.
I'm gonna go with a B.
I think you had to give him the benefit of the doubt because he kind of game managed.
He game managed, yes.
I'm gonna go B minus. That's not like a bad B. I'll be honest, that's not like a bad B minus though. That's like okay, not a lot was expected of you, but you did a decent job.
B.
This might be controversial. Clay Holmes.
B minus.
Kind of had it. Well, let's start off the season. Starting the season, Clay Holmes is dominant reliever. Some idiots are saying that he had a better season than ever Mariano had in his career, which is ridiculous. Then he falls off towards mid-July into September. October, he regains his stuff for the most part. So I'm going to give him a B. A plus would have been if he really kept it going.
If he kept it going, yeah.
Moving on. Jonathan Loaisiga. Despite a disappointing start to the season, he really came back and proved worthy. I'm going to give him
a solid
B.
B.
Moving on to Ron Marinaccio.
I'm gonna give him an A plus. Actually, no, that would be way too high. No. I'm gonna go A minus.
I'm gonna go
really
B.
like Marinaccio.
I don't think he scratched the surface of his potential. Wandy Peralta.
I'm gonna go with an A.
I'm gonna give him an A too. That man's a workhorse. That means a workhorse. I mean, how many times did the Yankees pitch him in the postseason? He was just lights out. Although a limited sample size, Clark Schmidt.
B.
I'm gonna go B minus. And probably the last important guy, Lou Trevino.
B.
B minus.
Yeah. Also, one guy we could factor in as well because he's departed from the team, Jordan Montgomery.
C plus.
B minus.
He never had great stuff.
Yeah. So I think we can end off there. Luca, final thoughts, any of that stuff?
Great to do player grades. Now we've officially hit the off season. Well, we kind of hit it last week, but no Yankee baseball recent. We're going to keep you guys updated. We're going to do quick takes. We're going to do all that stuff. Obviously, for the members out there, guys, be a member too. We're going to keep talk to you about the corporate media and how the Yankees are weaponizing them. We're here to keep it real, and that's what we're going to continue to do throughout this offseason, throughout the regular season. Expect the same message. We're consistent.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when there's a live chat, Pete doing the World Series, any of that stuff. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Become a member. I'm listen. I can't wait. And this I think would be one of our best shirts if we could do a Fire Cashman, Fire Boone shirt. I would love that because it's a straightforward message. I know it's original, but Listen, if we get people wearing Fire Cashman, Fire Boone shirts, I mean, we're up, 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 up. But appreciate you guys once again. Also, sub to my channel, Big Blue in the Bronx. We're almost at 800. But anyway, peace out, guys. See you later. Stay cool and have a good night.
Peace.